All right. What is up, West Virginia fans, Big 12 fans, and anyone watching this because you just love college football content? This is Joseph back with the Big 12 Football Digest, and Pat White is coming back to West Virginia as the assistant quarterback coach and assistant to the head coach. Pat White has been a guy that really made a huge mark on college football. He was a cover athlete for the old NCAA football video game that's now been rebranded as EA Sports College Football. But he was the final athlete, I believe, before they discontinued it to be on the cover. Big story for West Virginia, guys. We're going to dive into it, talk about what Pat White meant to this program. Before we do, and what he still means to this program. But before we do, make sure you guys like the video. That'll help get it out to more West Virginia fans, more Big 12 fans. Also, comment down below if you're a West Virginia fan or just a Big 12 fan, how big of a deal is this in your opinion? Do you feel like Pat White coming to the school could make a huge impact? Do you think what are you thinking? Just give me your thoughts. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. And we are a part of the 1012 network. The 1012 network is sponsored by Charlie Hustle. Go to charliehustle.com. You can see the gear here. I got on some Utah gear, but they do have gear for every single team in the Big 12. Go to charliehustle.com, use code TEN12 network at checkout for 15% off any non-sale items. Great quality stuff at Charlie Hustle. They're vintage made fresh, great quality. Let's go ahead and dive in and let's talk about Pat White. All right, guys, and this is an article by WVU Sports, written by Mike Montoro. It's titled Mountaineer Legend Returns to Coach Alma Mater, obviously referring to Pat White. Let's go ahead and dive in. I'll give you guys my thoughts as we go through. West Virginia University football coach Rich Rodriguez has announced that former Mountaineer standout Pat White will return to his alma mater as the assistant quarterbacks coach / assistant to the head coach. It's really special to welcome Pat White back to Morgantown as a member of our football coaching staff, Rodriguez said. He has been involved in some of the biggest wins in program history, and he will be a great presence in our quarterback room. Pat and I have been through so much together, and I'm really proud of the quality of coach and mentor to young players that he has become. White is back in Morgantown and after serving as an offensive assistant coach with the Los Angeles Chargers for 2 years before working as an athlete / skill trainer and coach for the past year. With the Chargers, he was the quarterback and wide receiver offensive assistant, providing coaching insight to each room. He helped secure the number 2 passing offense in the NFL and a spot in the playoffs. Obviously, the Chargers have had a very high-flying offense. I'm sure Pat White was a part of that. But either way, even without the coaching experience he has, which it does sound like he's been a successful coach, prior, going more into that, he also served as the pass game coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Campbell in 2022, was the interim offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Alabama State, the running backs coach at USF, and the quarterbacks coach at Alcorn State. So that was all from 2018 through 2022 before he went to the Chargers. So this is not like Pat White is just randomly coming to coach at West Virginia. He has had a pretty significant coaching career while he's been waiting to return. So really, guys, not only are you getting one of the most dynamic players in West Virginia history, and I would go even farther than that to say he's one of the most electric athletes in college football history. If you guys aren't aware, just to give you guys a little bit of context, I think they're going to talk about his stats, so I won't talk about his stats yet. So let's keep going, but we are going to talk about Pat White's stats and just how dominant and dynamic of a player he was. As a player, White was the nation's most versatile threat at quarterback, becoming the first college football quarterback to start and win 4 consecutive bowl games from 2005 through 2008. The Daphne, Alabama native set 19 WVU, Big East, and national records during his illustrious career, including finishing as the all-time rushing quarterback in NCAA history with 4,480 yards, now ranked second. Guys, let's run that back one more time. including finishing as the all-time rushing quarterback in NCAA history. When Pat White left college football, he had established more rushing yards as a quarterback than anyone else in college football history. Like I mentioned, one of the most dynamic players to ever touch a football field. If you guys didn't have the privilege of watching Pat White in his prime, he really was a special player, just a guy that one of those guys you guys would probably think of, whether you're a West Virginia fan or not, you can think of a player for your team that had that type of impact where you just knew this guy being on the field could change the game. And that's really how Pat White was. Moving on, West Virginia was 35-8 with White as the starting quarterback. He led the Mountaineers to bowl wins in the 2006 Sugar, 2007 Gator, 2008 Fiesta, and 2008 Meineke Car Care. And you guys look at that, guys. Sugar, Gator, Fiesta. I believe those are all New Year's Six bowls. Those are big time bowls. White set the Big East records in touchdowns, responsible for 103. Holy crap, over 100 touchdowns. Total offense, 10,529 yards, and became the first player in Big East history to pass for more than 10,000 yards. He posted a 7-2 record against top 25 opponents during his career. I want to spot check that. Is that accurate? Pat White, college. I think his total stats were over 10,000 yards. Yeah, he only passed for 6,049 yards. Let me just became the first player in Big East history to pass for more than 10,000 yards. It's actually incorrect there, Mike Montoro. Looks like you got a miscue. He passed for 6,049 yards. In total, he had over 10,000 yards, including his rushing, but not just passing. Anyways, White was drafted in the second round of the NFL draft by the Miami Dolphins, blah, blah, blah. We all know a little bit of an underwhelming career for Pat White in the NFL. Also a standout in the Diamond. White was selected by the Anaheim Angels in the fourth round of the Major League MLB draft. Boom. White, a member of the WVU Sports Hall of Fame, graduated from WVU in 2008. Okay, cool. All right, guys, stick around. I'm going to give you my final thoughts on what this means for West Virginia. If you guys made it this far, don't forget to like the video. That'll help get it out to more fans. Also, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the situation. Subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. And let's talk Pat White. So, as I mentioned multiple times in this video, one of the most electric players to ever touch the college football field. But more than that, for West Virginia fans, I'm not a West Virginia fan. I cover the whole Big 12. And I'm a Utah fan, but I can imagine knowing what it was like as a non-West Virginia fan to watch Pat White and know how special he was at the time. I can only imagine what he means for West Virginia fans. Just another reminder, comment down below. Let me know what Pat White means to be back on the coaching staff for you guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts there. I think it's a huge win-win. It's Pat White coming back to college football at a P4 level, getting to coach the game he loves and be at the school he loves. I mean, you got to think about this, guys, what this does. Like Pat White helping recruit players out of West Virginia, helping, develop these guys. He is going to be a guy that gets people excited. I think he's going to be someone the college quarterbacks in this room that are getting coached by him look up to and think, wow, this is one of the best to ever do it at the college football level. And he is giving me one-on-one coaching. The other thing is, guys, you walk in, coach, imagine coach or Rich Rod and Pat White roll up into a living room to recruit somebody. You got Rich Rod and Pat White rolling into your living room. Your quarterback grows up in West Virginia or grows up, the surrounding states, Virginia, Pennsylvania, all that stuff. Imagine he rolls up in and he's pitching you, right? And Rich Rod, Pat White. I mean, you're going to know who this guy is. This is a special player. Don't forget what Deion Sanders was able to do. Now, I'm not going to say that, NFL wise or overall fame that Pat White's on the level of a Deion Sanders, But when we're talking about that, like, I don't think everyone knows like nowadays just how special Pat White was, but if you were around back then, you know. And when he does go in these living rooms, if the kid doesn't know how special Pat White was when he comes in the living room to recruit him, the dad's gonna know how special Pat White was, and the dad's gonna say, "Hey, kid, this guy was one of the best to ever do it. Listen to what he has to say." So huge win for West Virginia, guys. Very, very exciting. And what else makes me very optimistic about it is it's not just a name only signing. It really isn't. It's not just like a name only. He's had a coaching career since 2008, doing it at a pretty high level, and I think this is such a big win, guys. Again, like the video, comment down below. I really want to know what you guys are thinking and want to know your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Yeah, I want to know what you guys are thinking. I think it's a fun, exciting news and exciting pickup. So let me know your thoughts. I'm out of here. Go Big 12.